This video is brought to you by Dr. Kristen R. Bromley's Guitar Method Book Series and Online Music Academy.
Hi, I'm Dr. Kristen Bromley. Welcome to my online academy. It's so great to have you joining me here in these online lessons. It's a Theory Thursday. I love music theory, and I'm so delighted to bring this lesson series to you. Now, in this lesson, we're going to look specifically at the Locrian mode, what it is, and how we play it on the guitar. So let's just go ahead and get started. Up here on the board, a little of the theory. The Locrian mode is the 7th mode of the major scale. So if we play a major scale but start on step number 7, we're going to get the Locrian mode. And the Locrian mode, by comparison to the major scale, has a flatted 2, a flatted 3. It still has the natural 4, and then it's got a flatted 5, flatted 6, and flatted 7. So once you got the root, you got to flat everything but step 4, and you get the Locrian mode by comparison to that major scale. So let's look at how to play it. Now, we've been learning all the modes of the major scale in these Theory Thursday lessons of late, and this is the last one of those. So we've gone through all 7, starting with Ionian, which is the major scale, but we've been going through all of them, and now here we are. With each one of these, we have this positional forms. We got these positional forms, and they're the same no matter which mode you're playing. What determines what mode we're playing is where we start within the form. So we got to have the root right, and that's all we have to have. So I've got these up here on the board in the same way that I've had them in the previous lessons, only the root that's indicated matches the Locrian mode. So we got these positional forms, but as we've been doing, it's really a good idea to start out with the single octave forms that we have and sort of get a grasp for the sound and then see how those go together to create our positional forms. So option A over here will be our first one. I'm going to go ahead and play this, and I'm just going to use B, which is at the 7th fret of the 6th string. B gives us no sharps and no flats, but when I play that option A single octave form, we get this. And as we've seen with our single octave forms, we can transfer them to other strings. So if I play it right there again, I've got that root on the 6th string. I could take, and if I find the B on the 5th string, which is at the 2nd fret, I could play the same form starting there. So I've taken everything one string higher. I could do it again. I've got a B at the 9th fret on the 4th string. Now the trick here is that I have to take anything on the 2nd string. When we start shifting strings, what happens on the 2nd string is going to be 1 fret higher than what happened on these low strings. So I have to take what's on this particular string here as drawn and move that, because now we're on the 2nd string with that, and I have to move it 1 fret higher. So I can just use my middle and pinky fingers, or I can shift up. Either way, and ultimately I'm probably going to want to shift up for the positional forms, but you can learn it both ways. Then I have a B on the 3rd string. Same thing here. When I get to that 2nd string, I got to shift up, and then I just continue as normal. I can play pieces of it. If I go to the B that's at the 12th fret on the 2nd string, I can just play a piece of it there. Or if I go to the B, I can play a piece of it there that's on that top string. I could also alternatively come lower, so where I played it ascending and then descending, if I start by playing it descending and then back that up by starting on that B that's on the 5th string at the 14th fret, or I could start on the B. I got just a piece of it there. So that's that single octave form. Now we have another option, option B. So if I put my ring finger on the B that's at the 7th fret of the 6th string and I play that form there, we'd have just like that. I could do it one more time. I can take that one up to the higher string. So if I put my ring finger on the 14th fret of that 5th string, I've got a B there. When I get to that 2nd string, I have to play everything 1 fret higher, so I didn't shift down or reach down that time. Just like that. And then when I go on up to the next string, I got my ring finger at the 9th fret on the 4th string. I could shift as I play that if I wanted to. I usually just swap out fingers to keep from shifting. But depending on when we're improvising or reading, playing melodies and so on, there may be times where one fingering works better than the other, so it can be good to practice more than one. I've got some partial options. So if I put my ring finger there on the 4th fret of the 3rd string, or I could put my middle finger, I have just a piece of it there. I could put my ring finger up on the 12th fret of the 2nd string. I have just a piece of it there. I could put my ring finger at the 7th fret of the top string, and I have just a piece of it there. Now I could also back things off and do things in reverse. So going back to that initial example of B, and I went backwards. I could move that one down, so I've got a B at the 9th fret of the 4th string. Just a piece of it there. And then if I put my index finger at the 2nd fret, I got just a piece of it here. Just like that. And of course, I've got the B at the 7th fret of the 6th string. So that's how the single octaves work. Now, we can put these two together and we get our 5 positional forms. So if we come and look at form 1 here, it's kind of an obvious way to see it. We're going to have option A, the first octave, and then we switch to option B for the second octave. Now the second octave is in a higher string set option than what's over there, drawn on the board, but it's just that. And then we have just a piece of option 1, so we alternate back and forth. And that's how these work, and we're just going to take a look here. So if I do this in the key of B, or B Locrian, which is the same as C major, so no sharps or no flats. But if I do B Locrian here, I start on that B at the 7th fret of the 6th string, and I could play form 1, combining these single octave options together, and I have. Now, just like we took and moved those single octave options 1 string higher, we can take and rotate these just the same. So if I take everything and move it 1 string higher, we get form 2 here. And I'm going to find that B that's at the 2nd fret of the 5th string, and I've got. Just like that, form 2. And then if I take everything and move it a string higher again, all the way up to the 7th or the 9th fret of the 4th string, I've got option 3. Just like that. Take everything 1 string higher, and I end up with option 4. So I can start with my index finger on the 4th fret of the 3rd string, or I can come down and start with that lower root where my ring finger is on the B at the 7th fret, and I can play through this one here. Just like that. And then we move everything a string higher for number 5, and I've got the B that is at the 14th fret of that 5th string. And I also have with my index finger option 1, but I'm going to go ahead and play it from this lowest root here. Just like that, we've got our 5 options. Now, how do these sit next to each other on the fretboard? We go every other one. 1, 3, 5, 2, 4, and then we start back over with form 1. So I've been doing this with these like this, all in the same overarching relative key. So we started with the Ionian mode in the key of G major with form 1, although the root would have been here instead because we were doing G major. And then we went on to A Dorian and B Phrygian and C Lydian and D Mixolydian and E Aeolian. Now F sharp Locrian, and we have the relative key that all these modes relate to each other in that has 1 sharp. And that's a great key to do this on because it's going to show all these just kind of moving from one to the next all along the fretboard. So I'm going to go ahead and switch keys. We just did the key of B. We were doing B Locrian. Now we're going to do F sharp Locrian, which has the same notes as the G major scale, meaning it has 1 sharp. So if we start with that, my index finger is going to be on the F sharp, the 2nd fret of that low 6th string. And I go ahead and play form 1. And then to find where the next one goes, and we are skipping over, my ring finger, where it landed on that next highest root, is where my index finger is going to be 4th fret of that 4th string, and we've got the F sharp Locrian option here. Just like that. Now, where my pinky was playing that higher root here, I'm going to stick my index finger, so that's the 7th fret of the 2nd string, or I can stick my ring finger down on the 9th fret of the 5th string, and that's where I'm going to start it, and I can play form 5 there. Just like that. Now where that ring finger is, I'm going to put my index finger there for form 2. So my index finger is now at the 9th fret of the 5th string, and I can play form 2. Just like that. And now, where my ring finger was, 11th fret of the 3rd string, my index finger will go there, or my ring finger can come up to the 14th fret, the F sharp on the low 6th string, and start there. And I'm going to start there because it's the lowest root. Just like that. And once we've done that, then it starts back over with form 1 with my index finger at that 14th fret. And of course I could just keep going higher, as many frets up the neck as I can actually reach on my guitar, whatever guitar I'm playing on at the time. And that's how these work, and it's these same 5 positional forms for all 7 modes of the major scale. It just depends on where you start. So there's the Locrian mode. Now you could go through with that. I'm not going to take the time to cover it here, but you could go through and do arpeggios with it, where you go every other pitch. So just for example, on that F sharp, I would play 1, flat 3, flat 5, flat 7, and then I got that root again. So F sharp, A, C, and then E. And I could also do that on the next higher octave. And I could combine them together. Now this particular position has one extra note that I could add. So I grabbed the wrong note in there. I'll do it one more time. Just like that. And you could learn those arpeggios with the single octave and through the 5 positional forms, especially if you want to improvise over half diminished chords. The Locrian mode lines up with a half diminished or minor 7 flat 5 chord really well. So we would use this mode if we're reading a melody that uses it, or for improvising over a half diminished chord. So pretty cool, great stuff. So there's the 7 modes of the major scale now between this lesson and the previous 6. Early on these Theory Thursday lessons, I did a huge deep dive into understanding the fretboard through understanding the major scale. So those you can check out if you want to kind of get a deeper dive into ways to manipulate these forms. Now, as we continue on the Theory Thursday lessons, we're going to keep working on some more scales. In the next lesson, we're going to look at the major pentatonic scale. So we're going to start looking at the pentatonic scales, or at least a couple of them, the major pentatonic and the minor pentatonic, which actually overlap with these 7-note scales, or these heptatonic scales that are modes of the major scale. And then we'll look at some other modes after that. So great things happening. Now we've got the lessons that come out each week. Besides that, there's over 1,000 videos on the channel. So lots of great ways to get help with various aspects of playing the guitar. And there's the method books. The new Theory and Technique book should be out as hopefully very, very soon. And that one has this sort of stuff in it. Goes much deeper than what we can really do in these lessons. And then it covers a lot of different techniques and theory aspects of playing the guitar. So it's super, super great book that relates to what we've been doing here. Hope you're having fun. Take care, and we'll see you again.
If you found this video helpful, please hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. For more in-depth lessons and to progress through a free guitar course, check out my Guitar 101 series on YouTube and my guitar method books, which all come with access to hours of in-depth video lessons. You can find more information about me and my products at KristenBromley.com. Take care.